when a young black boy suddenly shouted, "Don't drink that." No one at the upscale event could have predicted what would unfold next. Asterisk. It was a bright afternoon at one of the city's most prestigious charity gatherings, held in a lavish garden, overlooking the river, the kind of scene where champagne glasses glistened in the sun and polite laughter floated between conversations. Asterisk. Elegantly dressed guests in suits and designer gowns wandered among tables adorned with floral arrangements, while waiters served gourmet hors d'oeuvres. Asterisk. But for Malik, a 12-year-old black boy, this world was far from his own. Asterisk. Wearing a worn, faded t-shirt and clutching a box of bottled water, he wandered between the parked cars outside, hoping to sell enough to afford his next meal. Asterisk. He knew he didn't belong there. Security kept a watchful eye, treating him like an intruder in a place he shouldn't be. Asterisk. Still, hunger outweighed fear. He had to sell those bottles, or he wouldn't eat tonight. Asterisk. While circling the edges of the event, something suddenly drew his attention. Asterisk. Across the garden, a woman stood out, commanding, elegant, impossible to miss. Asterisk. It was Evelyn Monroe, a billionaire known for her charitable work, but also for her cold and distant personality. Asterisk. She sat at a table surrounded by influential figures, exuding both power and sophistication. Asterisk. Dressed in a sleek black gown, her jewelry sparkled like stars under the daylight. Asterisk. A glass of white wine rested beside her plate, and the mood around her was calm, like a river at ease. Asterisk. Malik stood watching from a distance, unsure why he couldn't look away. Asterisk. Then, he noticed a sharply dressed man approaching Evelyn's table. Asterisk. He looked composed, but something about him felt off. Asterisk. Malik saw him lean in toward the table, appearing to adjust something, and in a fleeting second, his hand brushed against Evelyn's wine glass. Asterisk. It was so quick it could have been missed, but something in that subtle motion set Malik on edge. Asterisk. He squinted, confused and cautious. Something wasn't right. Asterisk. Evelyn, still engrossed in conversation, didn't see the man slip away, melting into the crowd. Asterisk. But Malik remained still, his heart pounding. He couldn't explain why, but every instinct inside him shouted, "Do something." Just as Evelyn lifted the glass to her lips, Malik leaped into action. He dropped his box of water and sprinted forward, shouting, "Don't drink that. Please, don't drink it." His voice pierced the air like a siren, cutting through the event's polite chatter. Everyone turned. Evelyn froze mid-motion, the glass hovering near her lips. Asterisk. Her eyes locked on the panting, barefoot boy who had suddenly appeared beside her table. Asterisk. Who let that boy in? One guest asked harshly. Asterisk. A security guard rushed in to remove Malik, but he stood his ground, trembling, eyes wide. Asterisk. Please, ma'am, I saw it. He put something in your drink. I swear, don't drink that, please. The silence was deafening. Evelyn and studied him, unsure whether she was facing a liar or something else entirely. Asterisk. The guard grabbed Malik's arm, but the boy resisted, looking directly into Evelyn's eyes. Asterisk. I know no one believes me 'cause I'm just a homeless kid, he said, voice steady despite his fear. Asterisk. But I couldn't just stay quiet. I saw what he did. Asterisk. Evelyn paused, clearly unsettled. She lowered the glass back onto the table. Asterisk. Let him go, she ordered, her voice brooking no argument. Asterisk. The guard hesitated, then stepped back. She folded her arms and turned to Malik. All right. Kid, you said you saw something. Who was it? Malik pointed across the garden. That tall man in the gray suit. He touched your glass when you weren't looking. Asterisk. Guests murmured. Heads turned, but the man had vanished. Evelyn's eyes narrowed. She didn't dismiss the claim. Something in the boy's resolve stopped her. Asterisk. Find that man, now. She ordered security, and send this glass for testing. Immediately, the air changed. The relaxed atmosphere gave way to nervous tension. Asterisk. Malik stood frozen, afraid but firm. He'd done the right thing, even if nobody trusted him. Evelyn remained quiet, her gaze fixed on the glass. Asterisk. Though her expression stayed unreadable, Malik sensed something shift. Asterisk. For the first time, she was looking at him as someone who might matter. Asterisk. She studied his face with such intensity that he shrank under her stare, but he didn't flinch. Asterisk. Even as his hands trembled, he stood tall. Just then, the security team returned. No sign of the man, ma'am, one of them said, shaking his head. Asterisk. We checked everywhere. He's gone. Evelyn frowned and looked again at the untouched glass. Malik's voice echoed in her memory. There was something honest about the way he spoke. Bring in an expert now, Evelyn said, her voice cutting through the crowd. Asterisk. Test that cup, and make sure no one leaves until we get answers. The murmurs around them grew louder. Some guests shot Malik cold stares, while others looked uncertain. Asterisk. To many, he was just a street kid who crashed a private event. Asterisk. But the billionaire's stern orders and the boy's conviction planted enough doubt to make them hesitate. Asterisk. Minutes later, a chemist from Evelyn's team arrived with a portable kit. Asterisk. All eyes were on him as he began testing the drink. The crowd fell silent again. Evelyn stayed in her seat, arms crossed, her gaze shifting between the chemist and Malik. The boy stood by the table, clutching his worn case of water bottles like a shield. Asterisk, he didn't look away, even though the weight of everyone's judgment bore down on him. Asterisk, after a few tense moments, the chemist looked up, his expression a mix of concern and disbelief. Asterisk, Mrs. Marlowe, he said carefully. There are traces of a toxic substance in the drink. Asterisk, I can't identify exactly what it is without a full analysis, but I can say this, it should not be there. The reaction hit like a shockwave. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd as whispers quickly grew louder. Asterisk, Evelyn didn't move at first. Then, slowly, she rose to her feet, her face tight and lips pressed into a hard line. Asterisk, call the police. She instructed a guard. I want a full investigation. Asterisk, as the guard left to carry out her command, Evelyn's eyes returned to Malik. Asterisk, her expression had shifted. Now there was curiosity behind the power. Asterisk, did you truly see what happened? She asked, her voice calmer but still firm. Malik nodded quickly. Yes, ma'am. I saw him pour something into your cup. He thought no one noticed, but I did. Evelyn tilted her head, studying him. Why didn't you stay quiet? She asked. You could have avoided all this. Asterisk, Malik hesitated, fingers tightening around his box. Asterisk, because this was his one chance to explain, and to be believed. Because no one else was going to say anything, he answered. And if it were my mother sitting here, I'd want someone to do the same for her. Silence fell again. Evelyn took a long breath, taking in the boy's words. Asterisk, in the distance, sirens could be heard. The police were coming. Asterisk, by the time officers arrived, the event was buzzing with nervous energy. Asterisk, guests whispered in groups, some avoiding Malik entirely, while others approached, wanting to know more about the boy who had saved the billionaire. Asterisk, Evelyn briefed the officers, handing over the glass and describing the man Malik had seen. Asterisk, we have cameras throughout the venue, said one officer. Asterisk, if what the boy says is true, we'll find him. Another officer approached Malik directly, serious, but not aggressive. You sure about what you saw, kid? Can you describe him? Asterisk, Malik nodded and shared everything he could recall. The gray suit, slicked back hair, shiny shoes. Asterisk, as he spoke, he noticed Evelyn watching him, not the way others had, but as if trying to see the real person behind the words. Asterisk, the next few minutes were tense. Officers reviewed footage. Guests whispered. Asterisk, Evelyn stayed beside Malik, making sure he wasn't overlooked. Then an officer returned, holding a tablet. We found him, he said. The man poured something into the drink, just like the boy said. Asterisk, he hasn't left the venue yet. Officers scattered instantly. As the search began, Evelyn looked at Malik again. Her face softened slightly. She placed a hand on his shoulder. You saved my life today, she said quietly, and I won't forget that. Malik only nodded. For a moment, he didn't feel invisible anymore. He felt seen. The search only made the tension rise. Asterisk, police scoured every corner. Guests whispered nervously, and Malik stood near Evelyn, still gripping his box like armor. Asterisk, but now, those watching him didn't just see a street kid. Asterisk, there was respect in their eyes, curiosity, even admiration. Asterisk, Evelyn stayed quiet, watching the officers, but clearly lost in thought. Finally, she turned to Malik. How old are you? She asked, not coldly, not warmly either, but genuinely. Asterisk, 12, ma'am, he replied. Asterisk, you sell water bottles every day. Whenever I come, Malik answered. It's how my sister and I survive. Asterisk, that last part carried weight, and Evelyn noticed. Asterisk, your sister, she asked, surprised. Where is she now? Malik looked away before responding. She's at home. I mean, where we're staying. For now? Asterisk, I try to take care of her, but it's hard sometimes. His voice wavered, but he caught himself like someone used to hiding pain. Asterisk, Evelyn stayed quiet, listening. Asterisk, there was something in his tone, in the strength behind his fear, that stirred something deep inside her. Asterisk, then? News came. The police had found the man hiding among staff behind the event. Cameras had exposed him. Asterisk, he tried to act innocent but was clearly panicking. Asterisk, you've got nothing. This is a mistake, he yelled as they led him away in cuffs. An officer approached Evelyn. We've got him, he said. He's denying it, but the footage and the boy's word line up. We'll handle it from here. Evelyn nodded, though her eyes stayed on Malik. She knew without him, this could have ended very differently. Asterisk, when the officer stepped away, she turned back to the boy. Asterisk, tell me the truth, Malik, do you do this every day? Selling water, on your own? Asterisk, he nodded. His eyes held both pride and resignation. Asterisk, I don't have much choice. My sister's too young to help. Asterisk, this is just what we have to do. The honesty in his voice hit Evelyn harder than expected. For years, she had built wealth and power. Asterisk, but now, in front of a kid who had nothing and still did what was right, she felt small. Asterisk, as the guests began to leave, Evelyn called over her assistant. Asterisk, I want you to find everything about this boy, she said, pointing to Malik. Asterisk, where he lives, who he's with, and what they need. The assistant hesitated, but nodded. Yes, ma'am. Malik watched, confused why. Was she doing this? Then Evelyn turned to him again. You saved my life, she said. If you hadn't stepped in, I might not be here now. And I doubt anyone else would have spoken up. Malik furrowed his brow. What do you mean? Evelyn's hand touched his shoulder, gentler this time. I want to help you. You and your sister. No one should have to live like this. You saved me today. Now it's my turn. Malik didn't know how to respond. He'd never imagined someone like her, rich, powerful, would offer to help. I don't know what to say. Evelyn smiled, her first real smile that night. You don't have to say anything right now. Just let me help. Malik nodded shyly. He didn't know it yet, but that moment would change his life forever.